Hey, welcome back, guys. Just grabbing some more vegetables for the week. And honestly, I needed some cucumber and just a few peppers and just a little bit of kohlrabi that was actually just had to pick it. I did not need this many tomatoes, and we have probably about 4 times as many tomatoes inside just sitting around. So I'm going to have to start dehydrating these things and or start feeding them to the chickens. Some of them will make the decision easy, like this one you can see is kind of cracked. So if it doesn't get eaten soon or rotated in soon, it'll probably just go to the chickens anyway. So they eat pretty well. But the reason for making this video is to talk about what's in this jar, and this is Amaranth Seed. So we'll talk a bit about amaranth because there's a lot of it that is ready, and this is our giant red, I think it's giant red Chinese amaranth, I'm not really sure. But in either event, amaranth is a plant that has been around since the dawn of civilization. As far as we can go back in history and see that a lot of different peoples have used amaranth over the years. Matter of fact, here in the Americas, we know that the Aztecs used amaranth. In fact, when the Spanish came to the Americas, they eventually outlawed the use of the Aztecs from growing amaranth, oddly enough. It is an incredibly drought-resistant plant and a high amount of protein. The beautiful thing about amaranth is that the entire plant is edible. So what that means is that the leaves are edible, the stem is actually even edible, the roots are edible. Not that you would eat them, but unlike wheat, where the chaff has to be separated from the actual, seed that's inside, with amaranth, all of this, even these little red bits, are actually edible. So what that means is that it is less likely to upset your stomach. And there's less allergies. People who have gluten allergies and things of that nature can deal with this a lot more. So as you see, I have a ton of amaranth here. I have not planted amaranth seed in years because, as you see, there are a lot, and it may not be as easy to see. These aren't necessarily ripe yet, but there are a lot of seeds in amaranth. So pound for pound, it just delivers a lot. If I had acres and acres of land, there would be a considerable amount dedicated to amaranth, at least an acre or two, because it's such a great plant. The chickens love it, and there's a lot of uses. You can even take the seeds and pop them like popcorn. Some people will do. They can grind them up and make a bread, or just as you would like a flour out of it, just as you would with bread. So this is another type here, which is green thumb amaranth. So as you see, here's a green type, and here's a red type, and both, as you see here, are native to the homestead because once you plant them, there's a huge one right there that has to be at least, I'm going to call it 7.5, 8 feet tall, and there's probably a taller one over there that doesn't have a head yet, but and they get kind of beautiful. I mean, check this guy out. I've had some really wild looking heads. The neighbors always ask what this plant is. So it's amaranth. The leaves can be used like a spinach, salad green, or you can cook them like greens. So you really get a lot out of this plant. Some people don't even let it get this far. They just grow it for greens. So, they just get the really, really small leaves, and that's all they're going for. I kind of let it go all the way to seed because eventually I'll just pull it and throw it to the chickens, and they'll eat the whole thing. And the stalk that they don't eat becomes really good straw for me, if you will, or covering for the pasture floor. So a lot of things like this I will let grow, and instead of buying straw, which right now you can see I need to throw some straw down, and I probably will throw some straw down later on today. But instead of buying straw, you also see a lot of sticks and twigs in there. I throw in there what I can to help, kind of absorb some of the smell and the dirt and all of that, or the moisture and all of that. So, amaranth, get yourself some. If you have a homestead, it's a great thing to add. A lot of protein in this plant. Look it up. Incredible history all over the world. From Africa to Asia to the Americas, and we're talking you know, really far back in history. I believe at one point it was even used as a currency. Really easy to grow, incredibly drought resistant. I did nothing for this amaranth. I planted once years ago, and now it just comes back. All right, you guys have a good one.